So hi guys, this is Navdeep from Delhi Immigration Services. Today we have Mr. Debojyoti with us. Mr. Debojyoti is a 40-year Indian national, old Indian national, who got the Canada study visa in the very first attempt. So we're just going to talk to him and see how his profile is and how he has become a successful candidate at 40 years of age. So number one, hi Mr. Debojyoti, how's it doing today, sir? How's it going?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. First of all, many congratulations to you once again that you have got it. It's been a long journey.
Thank
I
you so much.
know. We work together, but
Yeah.
I am more excited to hear, what happened in the background when you were going through it. So, first of all, can you talk us through the overall academic profile? Before we proceed further.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, I did my master's in mass communication videography in 2005. After that, I started working. I've been working since 2006. I'm in the media sector, specifically in the media production. Currently, I'm working as a deputy chief sub editor in a TV channel.
Right.
So that is my profile. So two
Right.
years back, yeah. So 2 years back, I started thinking about moving to Canada. So at first, I tried express entry system, and after giving it some time, I thought it was tough because of my age. At that time, I was 38, and I thought that I won't be able to make it. So should I share my journey?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just want to understand the background, like when you started thinking about this
Okay.
decision, and how did you boil down to
Okay.
a study visa? Even if prior to that
Yeah.
you tried for express entry, would be
Yeah.
great if you can share everything.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. That after I realized that express entry system is not for me because of my age, I started exploring other options. And after researching a bit about it, I realized that study route would be better for me. So after that, I started watching videos on YouTube. I started researching. Initially, I contacted a couple of consultancies, but they didn't encourage me. They always said that, look, you are almost 40. That time I was 38. So you are almost 40, and you have a huge study gap. It could create problems. So, but I didn't let it go. I kept researching, and during the time I watched a couple of videos of Delhi immigration service. Your video actually.
Yeah.
So in one video you mentioned that age is not a problem. If the profile is good, one can get a offer letter, one can get a visa. So that was the first time I got really hopeful. And I clearly remember after finishing the video, I immediately called him, and we had a conversation for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I must say, I got a very positive vibe. I told my wife, look, I think this guy knows his business. So, and we had a few conversations, we exchanged a few emails. And here I'd like to mention that uh, you helped me that time we were discussing about institutions. That time we were discussing about programs. Nothing was finalized, but during the time you never mentioned about your field. Although you helped me a lot, you we have discussed about many things. For the first couple of weeks you didn't mention about your field, but when I decided to go ahead with you, then you send me an email and said what your fees. I think your fees is very reasonable. I think your fees is very reasonable, and you said how we should proceed. Uh, I must say, making the decision was not very easy for me because I was in Kolkata, you were in Punjab. We never talked face to face. So some people advised against it. Some people said that it could be risky. But as I said earlier, I got a very positive vibe after talking to you, and my instinct told me to go ahead. So I decided to go ahead, and we signed a contract. So that was the beginning, and I think we we applied to University of Regina in December 2020, right?
Exactly.
December 2020.
20, yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
December
exactly.
2020.
Exactly, yeah.
So initially we discussed about the universities. You told me that if I get the offer letter from a government university, it would be easier to get the visa. So, and you might remember that from the very beginning, I insisted on Regina, the
Yeah,
capital of
yeah.
Saskatchewan,
Exactly.
because exactly. So actually, a friend of mine lives in Regina, and I thought that it would be convenient for me if I stay near him. So we applied to University of Regina in December 2020, and you told me that I should apply to 2 to 3 universities. It would be safer for me. So we applied to Fiala Dickinson University and University of Canada West also. So one university is based in Regina, and other 2 universities are based in Vancouver. So basically,
Right.
I chose Regina and Vancouver because in Regina, I've got a friend who lives in Regina, and my wife has got a friend who lives in Vancouver, Surrey, in fact.
Yeah.
But I always preferred University of Regina because, firstly, it's a government university, and secondly, the cost of living in Vancouver is much higher. You might
Right.
remember that
Yeah, yeah,
I told
yeah.
you that, and so we after applying to University of Regina, I applied to Fiala Dickinson University in January 2021 probably, and then we applied to UCW.
Yeah, yeah.
Although we applied to University of Regina much earlier, I
Yeah,
got the offer letter from Fiala Dickinson University and UCW much earlier, and
yeah, exactly.
uh, I got University of Regina's offer letter after 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
After 6 months,
Yeah,
I applied. Yeah, I applied in December 2020, and if I'm right, I got the offer letter in the last week of June 2021. So almost 6 months. Probably you can probably, if I'm right, University of Regina takes much time than other universities to give the offer letter. Generally, they take 2 to 3 months time, and maybe because of my age or maybe because of this pandemic situation, they took 6 months.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
They take much
Yeah, they
much time
take,
than other
yeah,
universities.
yeah. So in a worst case scenario, previously, when we have dealt with them, they took like 2 to 3 months, somewhere in between. But
Okay.
in your case, they took ridiculously more time, 6 months
Uh,
time. Though we had other backups as well, but anyway, you preferred,
yeah,
University of Regina. So then we decided to wait on that. So yeah, eventually you got the offer.
exactly. And you might remember during that period, after 2 or 3 months, I got really impatient, and then I kept calling you, Navdeep, something went wrong. Maybe I'm not going to get the offer letter. But every time you explained everything very patiently, and you told me that University of Regina generally takes much time than other universities. So we have to be patient, and it would be better if we go for the government university. So, and we did that, and fortunately, after 6 months, I got my offer letter from University of Regina, and that was the conditional offer letter. So I had to send my documents, my transcripts, and my certificates from my universities here. So one of my universities in Kolkata, they readily send the documents via email, but the other university was not ready to send the documents through email. So I had to wait for another 3 months because of the pandemic. The postal service was not available, so they they sent the documents once the postal service started. So it took another 3 months. So ultimately, we were able to submit the visa application on 23rd October, just after Durga Puja.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah. So,
so
right. So then we had to wait for longer. But, before we come to that, I want to ask this. You mentioned that before starting or before applying for the visa or before taking this decision, you got so many odd advices also, which could have discouraged
Yeah,
you to start it. So
yeah,
how did
yeah,
you
yeah,
deal
yeah.
with it, and what advices were you getting in general?
Look, I got really disappointed at some time, and that time I thought that maybe I should not let it go. Maybe I should keep trying, and that's why I kept watching videos on YouTube. And I told you earlier,
Hmm.
during that period, I watched one of videos that was uploaded by you. But yeah, I got disheartened. I got disappointed after learning that my age could be a problem, my huge study gap could be a problem. But I think uh, when it comes to study permit, couple of things are very important. One is choosing the right program. I think you might remember initially I was in favor of a different program that was related to my previous education. I did
Hmm.
my master's in mass communication and videography, and I was in favor of some program that was related to that my previous
Yeah.
education. But you advised against it. You told me that in that case there could be subject overlap, and it could create some problem with a visa officer. So after debating on it, after debating on it for a couple of days, we zeroed on Master of Administration in Leadership program. So, so choosing the right program is very important. Another one, writing and another thing, writing the proper SOP is also very important. Also very important. And I remember, uh, uh, just before applying for the study visa, you took a couple of days to write the SOP, and I kept calling you Navdeep when you finished the SOP. I got a bit impatient,
Yeah.
obviously. So, but when I saw the SOP that was written by you, I got really impressed. Every detail, every point was covered. It was written in detail. And in fact, my wife told me that, okay, I think Navdeep has written a damn good SOP. And generally, I had the idea that generally a SOP consists of 1 or 2 pages, but it had 4 to 5 pages. I told you that it had 4 to 5 pages. It might cause some problem, but you told me since I have a huge study gap, I need to explain more things. So the SOP should be written in detail. So I I was really impressed by seeing your SOP, and I realized why you took a couple of days to write it down. So it was a damn good SOP. So
And,
firstly,
and yeah, I really need to appreciate your patience throughout, because first of all, waiting for 6 months on one offer letter really takes, big heart to, basically wait on that. And then the way you cooperated throughout the process, I would remember you from a lifetime, the way you, sort of handled the pressure and,
look,
things
I
throughout.
had to. I
Yeah.
had to because it was a journey. It was a journey for, and in every journey, navigation is very important. And you pointed me to the right direction. So
Yeah.
I had to listen to your advice. So I thought that I should listen to your advice. And uh, interestingly, I was not refused once, neither by the institution, neither by the university, nor by the higher system. But it took a whole year to get the visa.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so we waited for
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
Yeah,
For for
1 year,
for
more
visa
than 1 year.
application for visa application processing, sir, how much time it took in your case? I think almost more than 3 months.
94 days.
94 days.
Yeah, yeah, no, 94 days.
Right.
94 days.
And what exactly you were
So
doing when you saw the update, and how was the reaction afterwards? How did you unfold everything with the family and everything? Like, how was the reaction?
actually, I got really impatient, and that's why I kept watching videos on YouTube. Timeline of study visa,
Yeah.
PPR timeline of study visa, and I kept watching, and I watched several videos. And I must say that if you watch those videos, you would get a faint idea that when there's a chance of you to get the visa, because in the last week of January, I saw that people who applied on 20th October, 21st October, they are getting visa. So I realized that maybe within a couple of days, maybe within 1 week, I would get the decision. And you might remember that just before getting the visa, I called you and told you that Navdeep, my medical has been updated, and you told me that anytime you can get the decision. So I kept waiting, and after I got my BVL, the correspondence letter, first
Yeah.
correspondence letter, I thought that anytime I would get the decision, and that happened actually. So maybe the visa processing is being done from Canada, because people are
Yeah.
getting PPRs at midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So my
I
question.
got,
Yeah. So what
yeah, I
exactly?
got,
When exactly did you check the update, or maybe
yeah.
during a
So I
daytime?
got, no. I got my BVL on 25th January, and it came around 1 a.m. and my PPR came around 2 a.m. So I was asleep. So when I wake up in the morning, I checked my email, and there was an email from IRCC, and I realized, since I got the BVL the earlier day, I got that this is that decision letter. So I I entered my portal, and I knew that if it's refusal, it would be another correspondence letter, and if it is acceptance, it would be original passport request. So I was praying that it would be the I was praying that it would be the original passport request instead of another correspondence letter. So I entered my portal, and I checked, and fortunately, it was the original passport request.
Oh, that's
And it
great.
took me a couple of minutes to realize that finally I've got it. And it was probably 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
My wife was she was preparing breakfast, and she probably heard something, and she said, "What happened? Have you received it?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah, finally I've received it. Finally I've received my
Yeah.
PPR, and that's it."
Many congratulations to you on that. I'm so happy. When I also worked on the application, the way you handled the entire process, the way you kept your patience. I really hope that, you must get it, or you should get it in the very first attempt. And I'm so
Thank you.
thankful to God that, it happened in the very first time you got it. As you mentioned, you never were rejected from any university. We applied to 3 universities, they accepted you. So, it was definitely in your destiny to, just, moving forward. And
Yeah, here I'd again like to mention that uh, we worked together. I
yeah,
did some research, you did some
yeah,
research, and you pointed me to the right direction, and that was very important, because I didn't know much about this application process, much about this visa process. So with your help, I achieved it, I think, and I'm really thankful to you, and I'm really glad that I chose Delhi Immigration Service, and that was one right decision that I made. I'm really glad.
I'm so happy that you got it, sir. I mean, I wish you great luck further. It's a new start there. So I wish
and
you
and
great.
and also and also the way you handle the whole situation, the whole thing, there were times when I kept calling, when I was a bit impatient, but you always replied very politely, and I'm really impressed by the way you handled the whole thing. I'm really impressed.
Thank you very much. And I'm so happy, and I wish you great luck further. You have a great life. I hope you would do great the way you are. So I trust that.
Thank
So many congratulations to you, to your family. I hope to see you, progressing in Canada. So, Thank you very much for trusting us, giving us an opportunity. Loved working with you, the way you interacted and the way we worked together, prepared the application. Amazing. Thank you so very much. And yeah, so if you would like to add any closing, yeah. So thanks. So if you would like to add any closing comment before we end this, would appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, what I was saying earlier, that when it comes to study visa, 2 or 3 points are very important. One is that I said, choosing the right program. Second one is a well-written SOP. And third point is, I think financial document, because although mine was SDS category where financial documents are not required, but I think if you have got a financial document, you must submit. And you also advised that. So these are some points which must be covered. And I would like to say that, look, when we are applying, uh, generally we don't know much about this process. So it's always helpful if someone guides you, and getting the proper guidance is very crucial in this regard. So I think I'm glad and that I chose Delhi Immigration, and I'll obviously recommend Delhi Immigrations to my friends also. But I think choosing the proper consultancy, choosing the proper person, if it's not a consultancy, choosing a proper person who knows much about this whole process uh, could make the difference.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much for the advice. I hope it will help a lot of students to sort of prepare well for the process. And I wish you
Exactly.
great luck further. I'm so happy for you. And that's great. So we'll be in touch in case of any more questions also.
Oh, sure. I'd like to keep in touch with you because you're a very nice guy. You're a very decent guy, and I'd like to keep in touch with you.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good day,
Thank
sir. Thank you for taking that.
you.